Hello. If you want to hear about OKRs, what those are, and why are those so impactful today more than ever, and why is this concept relevant to you, then you're in the right place. My name is Maria Breiter, and I will share the power of OKRs with you in about 10 minutes. The topic of aligning organizations and individuals in those organizations to a shared set of objectives is not new. In 1954, Peter Drucker invented MBO, or Management by Objective. Rather than setting strict hours and discouraging innovation, he opted for a more flexible, collaborative approach. He placed high importance on decentralization, and he felt that setting challenging but attainable objectives promotes motivation and empowerment of employees. However, he saw this process primarily as a top-down management tool. In 1968, Andy Grove co-founded Intel, where he developed MBOs into the model of OKRs, which stands for O, objective, and KRs, key results of measuring progress against this objective. This is the model we use today, a decentralized alignment and prioritization framework empowering individuals and teams. In 1974, John Doerr joined Intel, embraced OKR concept, and introduced the system to Google in 1999 as a powerful goal-setting and alignment methodology, bringing organizational focus and increasing employee engagement. OKRs became an integral part of the Google culture and DNA. According to Larry Page, OKRs have helped lead us to 10x growth many times over. They've helped make our crazily bold mission of organizing the world's information perhaps even achievable. They've kept me and the rest of the company on time and on track when it mattered the most. John Doerr's book, Measure What Matters, published in 2017, became a #1 New York Times bestseller. The concept is very simple. The objectives help us understand what we're aiming to do, and the key results help paint the picture of how we'll measure success of the objective. You can use the phrase, we will achieve a certain objective as measured by the following key results to know if your OKR makes sense. So why are OKRs so successful? There are 5 primary reasons. Number 1, OKRs allow companies to stay focused on a limited number of objectives aligned with its mission. Number 2, OKRs promote collaboration by creating an alignment mechanism between individuals, teams, and organizations. Number 3, OKRs remove ambiguity by measuring and communicating success at cadence. Number 4, OKRs drive employee engagement and innovation by empowering teams to define their objectives and key results and track those to completion. Number 5, OKRs embrace change by establishing an ongoing review process, allowing refinement and revision. Let's refer to those as OKR superpowers: focus, alignment, empowerment, innovation, and flexibility. So if OKR concept is so simple and so powerful, what may go wrong? Actually, a lot of things. Watch for those anti-patterns when you implement OKRs in your organization. Number 1, OKRs are set top-down, similar to MBOs, where managers define expectations for their organization. The outcome is that people are demotivated. Number 2, OKRs are used as a measure of performance or defined compensation. The outcome is that employees and teams are discouraged from setting aspirational and hard-to-achieve OKRs, from being innovative and taking risks. Number 3, OKRs lack measures, or the scoring is not defined upfront, creating ambiguity whether the objective was achieved or not. Number 4, instead of desired outcomes, OKRs represent an activity list, deliver projects, launch remarketing campaigns, and so forth. By focusing on activities rather than impact, organizations create bureaucracy rather than driving inspirational outcomes. Number 5, while implementing cascading OKRs, organizations understand cascading by starting at the top and propagating their key results down through each level of org structure. This both kills autonomy and creates too many key results that become unmanageable. My recommended number of objectives at each organizational level or key results per objectives is 3 to 5. So how to avoid all those challenges while implementing your OKRs? I want to offer you a strategic framework that I created working with many large organizations on their OKR implementations. There are 4 steps in this framework. Step 1. Set OKRs. OKRs are set on organizational level and distributed throughout the organization. They are not literally cascaded all the way down. The leadership shares their OKRs and the organization engages in an annual for large organizations or shorter OKR setting process. This is a collaborative process, usually taking several weeks, where leaders for each area work collaboratively in aligning their objectives, and then each group collaborates on how to make it happen. Everyone has a fair chance to contribute. Some OKRs will be directly aligned to those objectives, and some related to continuous process improvement or innovation or professional growth that are relevant to teams that are setting those up. There is no need to wait until higher level of a hierarchical organization defines the OKRs. If the mission is shared and understood, if leadership OKRs are communicated, it's time for teams to engage in the distributed OKR setting process. Here is an example of OKRs from the company called GitLab, a repository management and software development lifecycle management company. I simplified those for the purpose of this presentation. Where do you think these OKRs are published? Of course, on GitHub, company's repository, available to everyone. This is a great example of a company that walks the talk. Step 2. Align on OKRs. Now, when draft OKRs have been set up, it's time to ensure alignment within the organization. Frequently, this step is missing, and then the company is choking on dependencies. There are conflicts in priorities between the groups that compete for the same resources, people, and budget. In our GitLab example, take this key result for marketing. Complete information architecture for customer-facing website pages and add 50 comparison pages. Marketing would need to collaborate with UX research, UX design, product, and IT functions to make it happen. This handshake happens during the align step of the process. Step 3. Refine. This step is the most powerful in my opinion, and many organizations lack it. This is where each group takes their annual or other long-term OKRs and refines them to the level of detail that would enable tracking at regular short intervals. Think of Scrum, frequent iterative delivery of interim outcomes. I recommend doing pre-grading at this point. Key results can be scored as percentages or similar to Google from 0 to 1. If OKRs are ambitious and hard to achieve, then 0.7 is considered a success. However, we'd like teams to understand in advance what 0.7 looks like. Let's take our GitLab example. Once user research, marketing, product, and engineering agree on their annual goal of creating 50 product pages, they may decide that in the first quarter, the product team will engage with user research to refine the product mix. In the second quarter, they will start iterative process to build the product pages and may want to make the first 5 available to the customer as an experiment. At any point, they can make a decision that this is not or impactful key result and pivot on a different way to achieve the same outcome of commercial growth. If they validate their product mix with customers and deploy 25 product pages with 80% or higher return visitor rate, they agree jointly to consider it a 0.7 during their pre-grading brainstorming session. Step 4. Iterate. OKRs are not set in stone. At regular intervals, we reflect on OKRs, track our progress, and make our decisions. Pivot if the key result is no longer viable, or persevere if we're on track to achieving our objective. We may review the priorities or refine other ways of achieving the same objective if the one that we set up is no longer working. This is done with complete transparency in a collaborative way. Think of the lean startup principle: fail early and often. If something is not working, we want to be aware of it as soon as possible and take an early action. Here is a simple OKR cadence. To summarize, this four-step framework helps you ensure that you make your OKR process impactful and meaningful. Once you forget the spirit of OKRs, the why behind them, or miss any of the steps above, your OKR process has a danger of becoming damaging rather than empowering, demotivating rather than inspiring. Now, I'm going to share an easy mnemonics that would help you remember the four steps. What is the acronym? Set OKRs, align, refine, and iterate. Yes, this is SARI, an easy way to remember this OKR framework. The four steps I mentioned are not phases. They happen iteratively and incrementally in an ongoing way. Finally, I want to share the sources that helped me shape my OKR vision. I'm grateful to these thought leaders for sharing their OKR wisdom. Please note that my OKR framework and opinions are not representing those of any of my employers, current or previous ones. I'll be glad to hear from you on LinkedIn or through my personal website, agiletransformation.com/OKRs. Thank you.